Hi, my name's Kenny Alvarez. Currently, I'm a bachelor student at Westchester University working on my exercise science major. I'm also a personal trainer at Everfit Gym. I'm a strength and hypertrophy specialist. I work mainly with high school and college athletes. Today, my client is going to be Carter Kinzer. He's a former collegiate football player, now turned bodybuilder. So we're going to be doing a bodybuilder type workout. It's going to be a bodybuilder chest workout. So what that entails is we're going to be really focusing on hypertrophy. He's off season right now, so he's eating plenty. We're really going to be focusing on putting as much mass on as possible. So with hypertrophy training, we're going to want to really focus on muscle tension and intensity. As you know, when you increase the amount of muscle tension through eccentric movements and just overall different failure reps and assisted reps, you actually increase the triggering of different growth factor chemicals, which is going to make his muscles basically create more proteins and create better hypertrophy gains. So we're going to do a lot of that today. Right now, we're going to start out with a dynamic warm-up. So that's going to consist of about 5 burpees and then about 10 seconds of high knee fast arms. And we're going to do that about 3 times. So, Carter, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, so just go ahead and do 5 burpees for me, and then some high knee fast arms for about 10 seconds right after this. What this is doing, this is getting his body warmed up, his muscles warmed up. That way he's a little bit more ready for a chest exercise or a chest workout. And this is also going to decrease the risk of potential injury since his muscles are warmed up. He's getting the blood flowing. His body's going to be more ready to work. So now that we got our dynamic warm-up out of the way, we're going to do some range of motion movements. And what that's going to do is it's just going to get his chest and his synergist muscles warmed up, especially his rotator cuff, since he's going to be using that a lot today. It's going to get all that warmed up. That way his body's a little more ready to do some like bench presses and different chest exercises like that. So if you wanted to start, just give me some range of motion movements. That way we're going to warm everything up. Right now he's warming up his delts because one main synergist maneuver, especially with chest press and different exercises like that, is going to be some interior delts. As well as doing some big warm up as well. Now, as soon as he gets done with that, we're going to work into our first exercise, which is going to be the flat bench barbell press. So the first workout we're going to be doing is the flat bench barbell press. With this, we're going to be doing 5 sets of about 10 reps for each. The first set is going to be a warm-up set, so he's going to use something really light. He's going to be doing about as many reps as he's comfortable with until he feels like the movement is pretty fluid, he's warmed up and everything like that. So if you were to lay down for me, when you want to do your bench press with 5 points of contact, both shoulders are firmly pressed against the bench, your butt firmly pressed against the bench, and then both feet firmly pressed against the ground. You can have a slight arch in your back, but you don't want your arch to be too much because then you're turning the flat bench press movement into a decline bench press movement. We want to do flat today. So notice how he's only tapping his chest. That's keeping the tension. If you were to take the bar and lay it on his chest, he would be alleviating some of that tension, and we want to keep as much muscle tension as possible. Perfect, that's our warm-up set. So now we're going to jump up to about 185 pounds. Again, this is still pretty light for him. He's a pretty strong guy, but we want to work our way up before we get into some of the heavier stuff. So now we're going to be doing our first working set. He's going to try and do about 10 reps. This should be pretty easy for him. But as we continue to increase the weight, it's going to be harder for him. So if he starts to fail, I'm going to do some assisted reps for him. And that's going to further increase muscle tension, which is going to help with hypertrophy gains. But you shouldn't have to do this, at least not with this set. Once we get to the heavier stuff, we may have to do that. But again, he's just tapping his chest, making sure he's keeping that muscle tension, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. So now we're gonna move up to some of the heavier weights. His maximum 1 rep bench press is about 345 pounds. That's a good bit. So we're gonna do about 70% of that, which is gonna be about 245 pounds. And that's gonna be somewhat strenuous. That's gonna increase the intensity. So we're jumping into some of the heavier stuff now. When you do assisted reps, if we need to do assisted reps, make sure that if you're doing this at home, you have an experienced spotter. The last thing you want to happen is to have an unexperienced spotter and have them drop the bar in your chest. Because if you have a loaded bar that you can't get off your chest, it's a disaster and it could lead to injury. So go ahead and be ready for me. Again, he's just tapping his chest. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. We're going to do that about 2 more times. Now for this last set, we're going to be doing the drop set. So as he lifts, he's going to start failing, and then we're going to take some of the load off the bar, and he's going to continue lifting. We're going to do about 8 reps for every drop set. There you go. Perfect. Now, he's going to go right back into it. Now doing these drop sets really maximize overall intensity and muscle tension. That's exactly what we want when you're trying to go for hypertrophy again. It's really going to help the muscle grow to be larger, which is what bodybuilders really want. There you go, perfect. And again, he's really putting in maximum effort, so you want to make sure that you're right there and you're able to spot him in case something were to go wrong. Perfect. There you go. Really push, really push. Nice. Now I'm going to have him stand up. This is more of a sport-specific movement. I'm going to have him do a most muscular pose. This is a pose that he's going to be doing when he's actually competing. But another thing this is doing, this is going to increase the muscle tension because it's contracting that chest. It's actually pushing more blood into the muscle when it does that. So he's going to be able to grow a little bit better just from that point. There you go. Keep on doing it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. There you go. Perfect. Nice. All right, so now we're going to work into some incline dumbbell bench presses. I prefer incline dumbbell versus incline barbell because we have more freedom. With incline barbell, your hands are in a fixed position, so you can't get that full range of motion really squeeze at the top. So we're going to use dumbbells for this. Now, the first set is going to be a warm-up set, so it's going to be a bit lighter. He's going to try and get 10. It shouldn't be that hard for him. Now, I want him to slow down a little bit on the eccentric movement. You need to control it. That's going to help increase muscle tension and overall intensity. Perfect. There you go. And I'm right here. I'm right in the spot on the or if he needs assisted reps, so I'm right behind him. Perfect. So now we're jumping into some heavier weight. He's going to be doing 80-pound dumbbells. Again, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be helping him with these assisted reps. And I'm going to make sure that he's going pretty slow in the eccentric movement to maximize muscle tension. Perfect. And since we're using dumbbells and his hands aren't in a fixed position, he's really able to squeeze from the top. Perfect. So now this is going to be our last set on the incline dumbbell press. We're actually going to train the rack. So he's going to start with a pretty heavy weight, something that he can get about 5 reps for. But we're going to drop down to 80, 70, 60, and then down to, I think it's 30 pounds. He's going to try and get 5 on these. And we're going to take about no longer than 30 seconds in between each one of these sets here. Perfect. Yeah. Slow and eccentric. Take a bit of a breather. We're going to move these out of the way for him. again, when you're doing high intensity training like this, something that's really gonna fatigue your quad, you always want to be right there for in case maybe there's a hiccup or they need assist reps, just like that. Notice how he's not bouncing. Difference from the concentric phase to the eccentric phase. He's really maximizing muscle tension that way. He's not using the stretch shortening cycle, which is going to really maximize muscle tension. That way he's not using the elasticity of his muscles to help him get the weight down. At this point, it's really important that you're right here for him. You have to tell him a couple more. You want to make sure that you're pushing to the max. That's the most helpful in the long run. There you go, perfect. And he's going to grab those last 30s, and that's going to be the end of this set here.
I'm doing tricep.
Squeeze the top there. There you go. You can actually see how red his chest is getting because there's so much blood in there. Now I want you to get most muscular. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Perfect. Perfect. There you go. That's increasing muscle tension, increasing the amount of blood that's flowing into his pecs right now. There you go. Perfect. Whew, looking crazy. So now that we got done with the training the rack, he's pretty fatigued. We don't really have to worry about the synergist muscles or anything like that anymore. Those are pretty burnt out by now, so we're gonna jump into some more isolated workouts. We're gonna jump into this flat bench machine, where we don't have to worry too much about form because the machine is actually gonna keep the good form for him. So we're gonna be doing a weight rack. It's pretty difficult for him. He's actually gonna go into some assisted reps at the end of this. We're gonna be doing 5 sets, about 10 reps for each. There you go. And when I do assisted reps, I'm just gonna go with longer intervals. Help him push. There you go. Just increasing the amount of muscle tension that he has throughout the workout, it's going to help with hypertrophy gains. So we're going to do about 4 or 5 more reps of that, sets of that, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So we're taking about, I would say 90 seconds to 2 minutes in between our sets. That's about enough rest time. Now it's going to be a little bit longer, closer to 2 minutes, with more intense sets. But for this, I really want to focus on the eccentric movement because that's going to increase muscle tension. Making sure it's slow and controlled on the way back. There you go, perfect. Come on. Push. Now we're doing some assisted reps here. There you go. Squeeze, there you go. We're really maximizing muscle tension here. Perfect, all right. Now I want you to do another most muscular pose. Squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Don't stop. Squeeze. Perfect. There you go. There it is. Perfect. And again, this is more specific to what he's going to be doing, and it's also increasing muscle tension and increasing the amount of blood that's running into his chest. So that's going to help in hypertrophy. Perfect. Perfect. Great. So So now that we're finished with the flat bench machine, we're going to move into some cable flies, and we're going to do a couple variations of this. So we're going to do 3 sets of incline cable fly, 3 sets of decline cable fly, and 3 sets of regular cable fly. This is going to hit every portion of the chest. We're trying to develop a whole full chest. Right now he's doing the decline. He's going to find a weight that he's comfortable with, but that is still challenging. He's going to do 3 sets of 10 of it. And notice how he's getting a good stretch in. He's getting a wide range of motion that's perfect for hypertrophy gains. Perfect. So he's doing another set of these decline cable flies, and you see his positioning. As long as he's sturdy and the weight isn't pulling him back or in any which way, that's a good position for him to really get a good contraction in his chest. And notice how he's not bending his elbows too much. He's staying about the same angle the whole way through the motion. That's really going to make sure he's targeting his chest and keeping the tension away from his biceps. So now this is going to be his 3rd set. This is his last set of the decline chest flies. And I'm going to have him, after he does this, I'm going to have him do another most muscular pose to increase muscle tension and blood flow going into his chest. Squeeze. Keep squeezing. Alright, so now we're doing the regular chest fly. We brought the cable down a little bit instead of just being at the top. You get a solid contraction with the entirety of the chest instead of just the lower portion. And again, notice how he has a very sturdy position. His elbows are not, the angle of his elbows are not coming in. That way he keeps the contraction in his chest. And you really see the squeeze here. That's perfect. So now he's going to transition into his incline cable flies. Now the technique when you want to do an incline cable fly is you're going to hold the cables in each hand, and when you come up, it's actually going to be like a J motion. So you're going to come in and then up, and then you're going to bring it down. And that's really going to target the upper pectorals, just like that. So you're doing the J motion, really squeezing the top of the chest. All right. There you go. Really see the top of his chest being activated here. He's building what a lot of bodybuilders call the shelf. Because when you start to really develop the upper chest, it starts to stick out by the collarbone and creates a similarity to a bookshelf. That's perfect. He's really focusing on the eccentric movement. He's going slow on the way down, which is again going to increase overall muscle tension. Alright, so now that we finished the overall workout, those flies were the last actual weightlifting portion of the workout. We're going to do a cool down. So I'm going to have him on the elliptical for about 15 to 20 minutes. And we're not doing anything crazy. It's going to be really low intensity because we're not trying to increase aerobic capacity or anything like that. We're just trying to get his body to ease back into a resting state and kind of push out some of the lactic acid buildup that he's creating over the course of the workout. So he's going to do this for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to do some static stretching. So now that we're done with the cool down, we're going to do some static stretching, and this is just to loosen up his tendons, his muscles, while his muscles are actually warm after his workout. This is going to help, again, the recovery process, get some of that lactic acid buildup out of there, and overall help him with soreness and things like that. So with static stretching, he's just going to hold a position for, I would say, 15 to 30 seconds. You want to stay away from ballistic stretching because that can end up in some injury. And after that, this should conclude our workout. So during this workout, we focused a lot on hypertrophy type training styles, really increasing muscle tension. That way we can grow a lot faster, which is exactly what bodybuilders want. So when you increase muscle tension and intensity, it forces the muscle to actually trigger more growth factor chemicals. That way he's able to put on more muscle that way. We also did some warm-ups before the actual weightlifting portion. That way he can warm up his muscles, decrease the potential risk of injury, and kind of get his body accustomed to some of the movements that we were going to be doing. Then we actually got to the weightlifting portion, which is when we practiced that muscle tension, that intensity, really focusing on eccentric movements, things like that. And then towards the end, we did a cool down to get him back into a resting state, help kind of push out that lactic acid buildup, help the recovery. And then we did some static stretching to further, increase his range of motion, stretch his muscles out, get that lactic acid buildup out of there. That way, he feels pretty good afterwards. So other than that, we should really be able to wrap everything up. I have him on a 6-day split. So he's a bodybuilder. He wants to make sure all of his workouts are pretty intense. So each day out of the week, aside from his rest day, he's going to be working a different muscle group. Today was chest. Tomorrow's going to be back and buys. So with that kind of training split, he's able to push a lot harder and get more hypertrophy gains throughout the week versus maybe doing something like a full body split. So with that being said, I think we're all finished here. So I'm Coach Kenny, and I hope you guys enjoyed the workout.